Do 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 do. Now why in the world would anybody put chains on me? Mm-mm-mm. I've paid my dues to make it. Mm-mm. Everybody wants me to be what they want me to be. Mm-mm. I'm not happy when I fake it. No. Ooh. That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Friday morning. Yeah. So why I'm easy. I'm easy like Friday morning. Good morning, fellow billionaires. This is Silver 5150 with your morning update for Friday, August 21st, 2020. Now, that was my rendition of Lionel Richie's song called Tender Heart. He wrote that when he was with the Commodores, but I think he did it solo. It's like one of those things they did during intermission during the show. And it's called Tender Heart, even though a lot of people know it more familiarly as Easy Like Sunday Morning. So that's a lot of people say, oh, so Easy Like Sunday Morning. That's the Lionel Richie song. And they're right, because I think it actually has that Sir title to it. Anyway, it's just one of those, nice mellow songs to get us going on this nice mellow day. I know usually Friday's like a party day for me, but the thing is, I just kind of, I don't know. I worked so much this week, and I was completely worn out, and I was really glad to know that I didn't have to go on duty till later today. So your show is later today. You're getting a late edition of this morning update. But that's okay, because this is going to give us a real-time look at the markets and tell us, how we're headed into the weekend, into the next week. And man, I can tell you, I am really surprised that we are in the third day of this price smackdown in the commodities markets, gold and silver in particular. And all right, so yes, I have adapted that song, Easy Like Sunday Morning, for this beautiful Friday morning instead. All right, and like I said, I'm nice and easy like Friday morning, like these easy Friday morning spot prices in gold and silver, because that means we're going to be doing some more buying this weekend. All right, so anyway, speaking of spot prices, let's go ahead and look at those now while you guys look at this 2015 proof edition kilogram Silver Panda, which I'm sure you've seen before. And a lot of these coins, guys, you've seen before. I'm not going to go through all of them. They've actually been in my earlier videos. They really need no introduction, but I might chat about them a little bit en route to our subject today. But yeah, for now, let's go ahead and look at the markets. So there's your panda. Aw, he's so adorable. Chewing on his bamboo. Yeah. All right, focus. Anyway, so right now, stocks are actually up just a little bit. And I think a lot of it has to do with, the positivity they're expecting out of possible, vaccines that are coming out and stuff. There's really no news. That's the thing. There's really no news on, why stocks are up right now. And they were up a lot higher earlier. But it looks like they're kind of fizzling off and stuff. And I can tell you this, the dollar right now, the dollar is on a tear. And that is on no news. Nobody knows why. It seems to flummox. Gravity-defying dollar. It flummoxes experts. And notice the experts, the media experts that are supposed to tell us what's going on with these indexes, they're always flummoxed or surprised. So, that's why they're experts, I guess. Anyway, so right now, dollar index is up about 61 basis points, and that's pushed the euro down about 99 basis points. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so the euro's down about 99 basis points. And that means that, not stocks, but commodities aren't going to have a chance today if they're valued in dollars, and gold and silver are valued in dollars. Speaking of our favorite two precious metals, right now gold is down about $8 and change to a spot price of about 1938. Yeah, so down about 0.5% right now in daytime trading. And silver right now, silver's taking a beating at 60 cents down and right around 26.50 for the spot price, and that's down about 2.25%. So you know what? That's the thing. It's like we can't really lose when it comes to purchasing precious metals, when it comes to buying what we need to buy, because we always are in position to take advantage, whether you already have stack and you're watching your stack grow in dollar-denominated value, or if you're going to buy some more and you're short and you want to make your stack bigger, these lower prices help us do that. And it's very, very, very helpful and advantageous to us, because the thing is, I mean, yeah, I'm in a position where I would be ready if things came crashing down, but I'm kind of enjoying this last leg of the journey, and I don't want them to come crashing down. Not just yet. Not just yet. Now, there's some mornings when I wake up and I go, oh, I don't want to go to work, and I'm telling myself, oh, I want to retire early, and of course, if silver went up to $1,000 an ounce, most of us could retire early. But that's not going to happen, and it's not going to happen overnight. Overnight, we might see something well over 50, but that'll be something that'll lag and kind of consolidate like prices are doing right now in the markets. So anyway, yeah, it's amazing, just how much volatility is in the market with no real news out there. But this is the times we live in. The thing is, we have a lot of background crises that are going on that are always keeping the markets roiled and rolling around quite a bit, and the volatility index up pretty high, even though they don't want to proclaim that it's that high. I think the VIX, or the volatility index they call it, the fear index, is only up about 0.25% today, and that's around 23 points. And if you guys need a reference for how bad the VIX can get during 2008, during the market crash, the crisis, the VIX got up to 60 points, and right now we're at 22 or 23 points. So we're still a ways off from those 2008 fears. All right, we're going to move right along. So again, I hope you guys are able to take advantage of this week-long SmackDown we're having, because I think next week they're going to have to pay the piper. It is going to be like a week-long increase in precious metals prices. It may not be. They may be flat all week next week, but understand, next week is the last trading week of the month, and so September deliveries are going to start really coming due in September, and then that leads right into October, which is the beginning of the new United States fiscal year, which leads right into November, which is the beginning of the United States and other election cycles, which is just going to really, really stir the pot. So we will see how we can adapt to that and how our assets are going to react to that. We can only speculate right now, but we can definitely surmise that it's going to be exciting as all get out. Okay. Oh, right. And real quick, I wanted to thank my subscribers out there for posting all these great deals. I took advantage of a couple of them this week. Creo contacted me and told me about some things at JM. And so, I paid some really high premiums for some 10-ounce coins that I think are going to do okay. But, the mintage was really low. And speaking of low minages, this 2019 check kilo line is 220. It's a kilo, so that's 32 ounces per coin. So it's still quite a few ounces. But 220, that's not bad. This was on APMEX back probably about 4 or 5 months ago when it was $930. And so I grabbed it. And that was, and look, the premiums right then, I think were probably, $20 or $30 at the time, because we had a really low spot price. But I was like, you know what? There's not going to be many of these things around. I'm going to go ahead and grab it, just like I did with this Panda. But see, those prices I knew were good because the price was going to increase with spot and with premium. And then this is the one JM tried to pull back on me when I bought it for 900 and some odd dollars too. And they tried to say, oh, we don't have it. And I was like, well, no, it's in the mail. I'll wait for it. And so a couple of months later it showed up. Anyway, so these are the kind of deals. These are the kind of things you got to do to finagle to get either nicer stuff in your stack or more stuff in your stack. All these shopping techniques we talk about, all these skills we're developing to use later on in the sell paradigm or the reacquisition paradigm, where we realign our assets, can't talk this morning, into newer assets. Basically, we take the super money silver and we turn it into other asset classes that we can use to enrich our lives, our families' lives, our friends' lives, and generations in front of us. We can go ahead and take care of all that if we plan this thing out right, if we plan these wealth cycles out right. That is the whole purpose of this. This is the beginning of us. This is the beginning of us as regular people stacking silver, which is going to be the next asset class. The silver age is going to be bombastic. It's going to be the next asset class that thrives over everything else, and it's going to be our gateway into perpetual asset classes that are going to give us wealth. So wealthy in silver in the beginning, and then take that silver wealth and roll it into the next asset class that's undervalued, have it balloon up and turn into a bubble, then sell that one into the next low one, and keep it going just like that, and teach your generations to keep it going like that. So they will have prosperity for as long as the world lasts. In the year 2525, if the human race is still alive, there will be all kinds of riches for your family. You won't be here, but they will be rich. Anyway, rambling on and yammering, let's go ahead and move to our subject. Okay, so now yesterday we talked about entry-level ambassadorship. And this is Silver Ambassadorship, okay, where you have been bitten by the bug and you're basically trying to spread the silver gospel. So this is a point where you need to actually, believe it or not, curb your enthusiasm, okay, in order to try to inform everyone you can. Because if you overcook the message, you'll usually turn a lot of people off. And you don't want to do that. You want to go ahead and you want to get that message out there. You want to have impact, but you don't want to knock them off the cliff. All right. So that's what you're doing in those initial stages of ambassadorship. So this is an entry-level ambassadorship. Very enthusiastic. You talk to people. You tell them what you know and stuff. All right. And you just try to deal with being overwhelmed by this bite you receive from the silver bug. And you express yourself that way by buying and purchasing, possibly showing off some stuff, and telling people what you know as factually as possible. With your enthusiasm curbed. Okay, so now towards the end of that stage, though, you're going to notice that your engagements are going to be fewer. So you will probably, like I did, use the lag in your silver preaching activity to begin resetting yourself. Okay, to resetting yourself, because you're like, oh man, I stacked quite a bit really quick. Let me step back and reassess what I'm doing here to see how I can go further. All right. So you do that, that self introspection, and you figure out how you're going to move forward. All right. So you want to improve yourself, and you end up diving deeper into the silver universe. Okay. And this is a point where you're going to greatly increase your knowledge and your stack. I mean, you've already made great strides in your stack, but now that you're increasing your knowledge and you're stepping back and you're focusing more on your efforts and not so much telling everybody else, you are going to make great gains in both, in your knowledge and in your stack that time. Now, knowingly or unknowingly, you're actually preparing yourself for the next phase in Silver Ambassadorship. Okay, there's another phase, yes, which is called the advanced phase. This is the advanced phase of Silver Ambassadorship. So what does that look like? Meaning advanced Silver Ambassadorship. Okay, well, in my experience, advanced Silver Ambassadorship is the ability to engage, at this point, numerous people in the silver story and the silver lifestyle all at once, or at least have the resources to put on something like private showings. Like that's what I do with my friends. Like, excuse me, the other day I had the broker over, and he actually got a private showing. Now, it sounds fancy and whatnot, but I did pull out particular pieces for him to look at that he hadn't seen. And it was one of those things I really enjoyed doing. And, and even though he didn't need any convincing because he's been on the silver train for a long time, you could tell he did glean something from it. And it helped me use him as a test bed to find out what works on people as I continue in my advanced silver ambassadorship. Okay. But yeah, so you want to warm the most resistant opponents to the silver story. You want to warm their hearts to, the silver story and the silver movement and all that stuff. And so you'll do extra things like put on these private showings if you have somebody that's worth the trouble. I used to walk around with a briefcase full of metal and, show people the metal and stuff at work, see, well, these are some of the products that are available, and so sometimes, I'd get a couple be like, oh, wow, I had no idea. And then a couple of others were like, yeah, well, it's a worthless relic and a pet rock, so I already know everything about it. Those people, I told you about them, right? So I got funny. But anyway, excuse me. Yeah. During this stage, you're going to be able to recite many important facts and figures about silver's current and future value off the cuff. I mean, instinctively, you'll just be able to rattle off a bunch of stuff that you've learned about during your improvement. And you can usually debunk during this stage, advanced silver ambassadorship, you can usually debunk any staunch critics in a tactful and respectful manner, even when you're ambushed. And I was getting ambushed here earlier on. And people, well, Silver 5150, what do you think about that $2 drop we had? What are you going to do about that, huh? I guess you're not going to retire early. And so, I'd be like, okay, all right. And I'll be bam, bam, bam. Hey, this is the deal. I'm not done stacking anyway. The more you can get, the better. You should start stacking now, take advantage of this thing instead of sitting there trying to defame me and then get on board. Well, I don't need to do that because I've got Bitcoin. I mean, and I'm not saying Bitcoin is bad, but if that's your answer, you need to understand that your answer is limited and is lacking something very, very precious to your portfolio. Anyway, so during this time, again, you're able to educate others on the do's and don'ts of acquisition. Okay, during advanced silver stacking ambassadorship, you're able to support security and preparations. Tell people about how to prep. tell people how to secure their preparations, as well as recommend top-tier educational resources. You can float around on YouTube and find guys, talking about silver all the time. But unless you listen pretty hard, you're not going to know necessarily if they knew what they're talking about. So you don't want to lead people to bad educational resources when it comes to the silver way of thinking or the silver lifestyle. You want to make sure it's good quality stuff. So you go ahead, you point out those educational resources, but finally, and this is the most important, okay? You routinely, and routinely can be, pretty far and few in between, but as long as it's routine, you routinely bless others with free silver. It could be grams, it could be tenths, whatever. But you can routinely bless people with free silver, and this is something that God smiles on. He smiles on that, and he blesses you with being better at putting out the story about his money. Okay? And it just is a win for everybody. People get free silver. Their eyes are either open or ears are open, or they just, are happier because of it. You're happier because it feels good to give. And who knows how you've affected, the general population by doing this stuff at random and just, whenever you can get away with it, and then just kind of walking off and leaving it and letting the seed take its place, letting the seed do its thing. So that's the whole idea about that, routinely blessing others with free silver. And at this point, you should have become pretty masterful at reading people, okay, and be generally convincing enough to bring most of those that are willing to listen around to the silver way of thinking. This is actually a way of thinking. Silver is a way of thinking. You will never see currency or credit the same way again. Like I was telling you guys about last week, once you understand the depth and the impact and the importance that silver is going to have in our next monetary system, you have no reason to misunderstand or fear any other monetary medium ever again. You have arrived. You have arrived, man. This is it. Silver is the final stop. And once you're in here, you can go anywhere from here. So it's a way of thinking. Now, this is advanced silver ambassadorship at its finest. Okay? All the stuff I just mentioned. And it's something that occurs naturally as you continue progressing in your stacking career. You want to continue stacking silver. You want to continue getting better at it. You want to continue getting more, M-O-A-R, more. And you want to continue convincing more people during this time. So a recap for advanced silver stacking ambassadorship. So you're able to educate others on the do's and don'ts, okay? You're able to tell them how to secure their preparations, how to prepare, how to secure those preparations, recommend top-tier educational resources, okay? And you are running around blessing people with bits of silver here and there. My thing is kids. They've gotten quite a bit of my silver, and I don't know if I'm still going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing other things like giveaways on the channel. But I'll continue blessing people with silver because it seems like the more I do that, the more I end up in my stack. The more silver that I give away, the more that ends up in my stack. Now, I could sit here and give you a 2-minute diatribe on the story about the loaves and fishes with the disciples and Jesus, but suffice it to say, God always takes a very little bit, whatever you can contribute, and when you start to do his work, he turns it into a lot, an awful lot, which means you got to continue doing his work. I have no problem with that. All right, so those are all those things. You go ahead and you advance as a silver ambassador, and you do all these things, and you will make progress in your stacking career. Then it sounds like that should be it, right? That sounds like that should be the end of this video podcast, and you're done, and you've already arrived because you've got some silver, you've been giving it away, you've been doing all these things with people, but that's not the end. You would think that senior silver ambassadorship or advanced silver ambassadorship would be the end, but it's not. I'm going to take you now to the final level of silver ambassadorship, and that is the world of the silver statesman. I know. The silver statesman. This is the final destination. This designation, the silver statesman, is reserved for those who have spent at least a half a generation in the pursuit of sound money. Not just silver, but gold, platinum, however it pertains, but anything that's anti-dollar, okay, anti-credit. The pursuit of sound money, which means you become a bit of an activist, possibly a pariah, all right? But you have made great strides in building your stack, okay? And you have an education level that can usually dissect any critics, in an instant. All right, you are a silver statesman. Now, let's get into the details of it. So you spend at least half a generation in the pursuit of sound money as a stacker. If you're a silver statesman, the staunch advocates for silver as money are these silver statesmen. They are staunch advocates, and they're usually well-traveled, by the way. If you're going to be a silver statesman, you will have traveled and have a high appetite for risk, meaning that you will go wherever you have to go if the opportunity for acquisition shows enough potential. Like International Stacker, he blows me away with his ability to go into scary places looking for silver. He might not get any. He might, get some. He might not get any, but, he's willing to really get in there and stuff. And Silver Joker's the same way, too. He'll travel wherever he has to travel, to get a good snag for silver, to get some good acquisitions and stuff. And I don't know if I quite have that appetite. You guys know that I am very much an internet baby. I'm very much a internet retail guy. And most of my stuff comes in through the mail. I don't have either the time or the fortitude to go out and do those kind of acquisitions. But the Silver Statesmen, they do. And they continue doing it, and they end up with really huge stacks, and they know their stuff. And these are the guys that I like to listen to and follow also. I like to listen to some of the junior stackers and, the beginning level ambassadors and, guys like myself. But the senior stackers, the statesmen, yeah. Now, look, examples of Silver Statesmen that we are not familiar with are Hugo Salinas Price, Ted Butler, Keith Neumeyer, and Eric Sprott, and Mike Maloney. We'll throw Mike Maloney in there too. All right? So, yeah, these are examples of the uppermost Silver Statesmen. These guys have been at it for 30, 40 years, in some cases longer, and they've been trying to make the case for silver. They have put themselves, out there against the powers that be to bring us a silver story and to expose fraud and to expose, how the people have been cheated out of their wealth from God. And they put themselves really, really at high risk saying and doing what they do. But they've been able to do it. And, I consider them some of the top silver statesmen out there. So Hugo Salinas Price, he has plenty of articles if you haven't read them. Look around on the internet. There's Hugo Salinas Price, Salinas Price, Price, Hugo Salinas Price. Ted Butler, very common name. Keith Neumeyer, who runs First Majestic Silver. And Eric Sprott, who I think runs SLV, or he owns a lot of SLV, and he's a billionaire. And then, of course, Mike Maloney that runs goldsilver.com. These guys are like the international silver statesman elite. They go all over the globe doing globalist things. All right. But known members of the YouTube community include, but are not limited to, and if I miss you, I'm sorry, but like I said before, International Stacker, I consider to be a silver statesman. Silver Joker, definitely a silver statesman. And Salivate Metal, Uncle Sal. These guys have been in the game for a long time, and they're not going to really tell you how big their stacks are, but trust me, using the techniques and the methods they use, they have put together some really good stuff. They really have. And at some point, maybe if we have some kind of big party or some kind of, a stacker's gallery where everybody can display their stuff, God knows what it would take logistically to set that up. You might get to see some stuff you've never seen. But these are the guys I consider to be silver statesmen in our YouTube community. All right. And in case you're wondering, guys, I am not a silver statesman. Not even anywhere near it. I've only been in the game for about 7 years, and I haven't hardly traveled anywhere in the pursuit of silver. I pretty much sat myself right here and let it come to me. All right. But I'm sure that'll change someday. Once we begin to revert back to some semblance of normalcy, I do plan to get out there and travel, Silver 5150 on location. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be probably running with the big dogs if I can, trying to put out a pursuit for silver. As the International Stacker says, one man on a journey to find silver. I love that. I love that intro. It's the bomb. It's the bomb. Okay, so real quick, this is the Monarch Dragon versus Vikings. Very cool. 10-ounce coin, or 10-ounce round, and it comes in this cool box. You know about that. And of course, my Cronus. I love this coin. It's one of my favorite coins because you get put the shadow right there. Why not? And and so that needs no introduction. 100-ounce bar. Okay, moving right along. I think that is going to actually cover it for today, guys. I don't know if I have anything else to tell you. I want to tell you have a great weekend. But before I do that, I want to make sure that you listen to this video twice if you have to understand the different designations and at least understand the most relevant things about Silver Ambassadorship. Because this is something you're going to naturally progress to. It's not, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. As you grow in your stack and grow in your knowledge, you will feel compelled to share the information and the energy and the passion. It's just going to overwhelm you. And don't let it overwhelm you because you'll overheat and explode. Tell people about it. Just find a good way to do it. Don't overcook the message and inform people about the silver story. Okay? Tell them about the silver story, stacking the king of metals, and that's silver. Okay? All right. Continue to grow in your passion. So, it is Friday. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm Silver5150 telling you that your stack is not whack and that just 12 ounces to your name keeps you 99% ahead of the game. So go out and have a great weekend. Buy some silver. It looks like we're going to get a good break on silver this week. And if you haven't bought any yet, it's not too late. You can get in there, get yourself whatever you can get. You're going to be really glad you did. Probably even as early as next week, if not next month. All right? So go out and have a great weekend. Stay healthy. Keep stacking, guys. And we'll see you on Monday morning. We'll see you on Monday with the morning update. I am so excited. It's Friday. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to take care of some things and then get into the grind later. But yeah, guys, I'll see you on Monday with the morning update. You take care.